If Labour don't win seats in the South East in this election, they are not going to kick Boris Johnson out of number 10 and the Tories are going to win a majority. Now we're going to travel to the South East, Hastings and Rye and Uxbridge, and we're going to start here in Canterbury. Labour won this seat by the narrowest of margins back in 2017.
Hello again.
So I'm going to talk to Rosie Duffield. Wow, this is Canterbury.
Sunny Canterbury, how have you been?
She was the Labour candidate who, against all her wildest expectations, won this seat 2.5 years ago. And I want to find out, is there any hope of that same thing happening again? How you feeling? Yeah, it was so narrowly won last time. Do you think Rosie can actually hold on or increase the majority? Because if we look at the polls now, some might go, well...
Polls.
Not a fan of polls.
Another thing, I don't agree with polls either, because they say, oh, we asked so many out of 1,000 people, and I'm thinking, oh, they didn't ask me. I will be voting Labour this year, so because I can't see any other way.
On Brexit, where are you at? What do you think about it?
Personally, now this is really important, I am a Remainer. However, if we do have to leave, I want to make sure that we leave for the right reasons, the right deal.
Hi, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, I work here in Canterbury, but I'm just saying that 17 million people voted to come out.
I mean, obviously I represent this city, and this city voted to remain, and I have thousands of emails saying, please, can we have a people's vote, can we have a referendum, can we stay in as close as possible? So I feel it is really my duty to do my best for the majority of people that voted in.
So can I say, who are you voting for?
I'm a Conservative through and through. I am Brexit, I want to come out.
But Boris hasn't achieved that, has he? And
He's
Theresa May
trying
didn't
damn
achieve
hard.
it.
There's a lot in Brussels that are going against him. But anyway, I'm going to have lunch with my friends. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Why is a constituency like Canterbury, which in my head, I would just presume would be a Conservative area, why did it shift into the Labour column?
The image that Canterbury is really prosperous and doing okay. Unemployment's pretty high here actually. People are suffering. There are children living in actual poverty here like everywhere else, and it's a really diverse place. The demographic has changed. There are more students here now. It's just more robust debate as people move from London, and you cannot take your vote for granted, and I feel that that is what happened with the last Tory MP here. He led the Leave campaign in Brexit, and we're not a Leave place generally, so I think that really helped.
Do you think that what's going to happen is some people who voted for you in 2017 are going to vote Lib Dem and the Tories will just win the seat back?
That is a real possibility, but I pledged to those who would normally vote for Lib Dem or Green or some of the other parties that I was a Remainer, and I said it might hurt now to vote for Labour, but lend me your vote and I promise I'll be consistent, and I haven't let them down, and I've marched with some of these Lib Dems. They're friends. I've lived here 22 years, and I think, you know, there is a bit of nose holding if you vote for another party, but most of them are voting for me as their Remain MP, so I'm happy in Labour.
The membership are very, very excited and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Is that going to translate though onto the doorstep? Because there's one thing being a really kind of, hyped up Labour member, and then there's people who mostly don't engage with politics on a day-to-day basis.
No, that's true. I mean, to us, it's our entire world, isn't it? It's what we talk about and think about all of the time. But I think if we can just get people talking about one issue that's important to them, they'll realise that they're much more political than they thought they were. If they've got a relative who's been to a hospital, if they've struggled to get decent housing, they're political, they're engaged. Even if they're fed up with the way their bins are collected, that's politics. So you need to talk to them about what matters to them and why it matters who they elect.
I don't know what to think. It's interesting someone like Rosie Duffield who just didn't think she was going to win at all back in 2017, now feeling quite cocky about winning for a second time. And last time round, I was chatting to Labour MPs at the beginning of the election campaign with 8,000 majorities and thought they were goners. But I suppose the danger is just hoping that 2017 will repeat itself and get Labour over the edge. So it'd be interesting to see in Hastings, where Labour do need to win, and Uxbridge, Boris Johnson's seat, whether the Labour membership has the same sense of optimism and what the strategy is in the coming weeks, which are going to be really tough.
It's just ringing to to talk to you about getting involved in the general election.
Do you get emails from the party?
So this is interesting. This is phone banking. In this case, what they're doing is they're belling other Labour members to try and, I guess in a nice way, kick them up the backside. Try and get them involved.
What made me come in today? Well, it's funny because we're doing some phone banking today, and a guy rang me up about 2 months ago, and said he's at the conversation I'm having now for one of these scripts. Could I help in any way with the general election coming up? And I've been feeling guilty for a long time. And when the guy rang me up, it sort of sparked my interest, and I've been to a couple of canvassing sessions, and that's why I'm here tonight.
So is that the first time you canvassed?
Yeah.
How did you find it? Because that first time, nervous.
Really nervous. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting on a bit. Got quite a lot of life experience, but it was amazing how nervous I did feel knocking on doors.
Hello!
Is this a socialist dog?
Yeah, it is.
I think on the doorstep this must kind of, you know, if it's like a hardened, maybe a Tory voter, maybe they'll see this beautiful dog and maybe it'll change their mind. What do
Well,
you
that's
think?
the idea, yeah, to melt the heart of the Tories.
Exactly. So what do you see on the doorstep? That's what I'm interested in. What are people saying on the doorstep about Jeremy Corbyn? What do they say and what do you say to them?
It's all like the media stuff, you know, he doesn't wear the poppy, he won't sing the national anthem. You do get a lot of that, and sadly sometimes you do get the odd few of our supporters that say, I've voted Labour for years, you know, and I can't feel like I'm voting for him.
When people are sold by him at the moment, what do you say to them?
When people say that.
Yeah, when they kind of...
I just say, well, you're not getting married to him, you're not going out with him, I'm not asking you to go on a date with him.
That would be an exhausting campaign for Jeremy Corbyn. My word.
You're voting for the policies, you're not voting for the person. Look at the policies, and then I'll reel off a few policies like the better education system, getting rid of universal credit, you know, the bills and council houses, and I'll put in some good policies instead and say surely that is enough, isn't it?
So I'm with Peter Chowney. You are the Labour candidate for Hastings and Rye.
Yep.
What's at stake?
Well, there's a lot at stake. Hastings and Rye has a lot of very deprived communities. We've not been served well by the Tory government. Austerity has hit us hard. We are kind of, you know, like a northern city by the coast.
I mean, there's a big... across the country, we know there's a generational divide, that younger people are far more likely to support Labour than the Tories, but older people very much the other way around. What do you find in terms of that on the doorstep? Because older people are more likely to answer the door, and how do you try and win them over? Is it possible to win them over?
Oh, I think it is, yeah. Particularly because I'm kind of not young myself, so you can often engage older people by talking about the past and sort of, you know, what Labour did back then, and kind of, you know, do you remember the Wilson government sort of thing.
If the polls are right and the election was held tomorrow, you wouldn't win this seat. Is that how you feel on the doorstep?
No, actually, no. To be honest, it feels a lot better than it did at this stage in the 2017 campaign, where we came very close in the end. If it just stayed as it is now, I think we could win it, but I think it's going to get better.
But the question will be, with what will be a formidable Tory machine, can the Labour membership mobilise enough people to kind of get their own vote out and expand Labour's appeal? I mean, it's 8:30 now, and it is nippy out, it is dark, and it is going to get colder and darker. Yet, as things stand, the Labour membership is mobilising. Let's keep moving around, Are we fired up? Yeah! Let's go! Yeah! Ready to unseat a Prime Minister? Yeah! Where are we, Ali? What's going on?
So we're here in Uxbridge and South Ruislip today on a wet, cold Tuesday dark night, and we've had hundreds of people show up to our rally.
Is it more than you expected?
This is unbelievably more than I expected, but look, there's something really exciting going on here. I think people recognise that they can make history by coming here. We can unseat a sitting Prime Minister for the first time in history. We can boot out Boris Johnson not only out of number 10, but guarantee him out of politics.
If I was going to put my cynic hat on, they'll say, come on, 5 times a majority, Tory Prime Minister. He wouldn't be so stupid, surely, to be in a seat where he genuinely thought he was going to lose it.
The cynics would have also said that we wouldn't have had hundreds of people here. The cynics would have said that I should never have become the candidate here. I have no time for cynics in politics now. All things are possible.
Are you finding that some of the shift to Labour is people who maybe can't afford to live closer into London and settle down and have a family? Are they ending up here and shifting the kind of
Yeah,
political...
so there's been a lot of talks about
tendency.
demographic changes in Uxbridge. I mean, people like myself who can't afford to live in London but who work, and lots of young families and things like that are moving to the outskirts of London. That's definitely happening. But it's a plethora of things, whether it's people who are suffering through poverty, people who've moved out of London because of the expensiveness, younger people who believe in the audacity of having an education for free. It's something that Boris Johnson and his friends got, by the way. People who think we should tackle climate change. It is the programme and the hope and the vision that Labour is providing that's bringing everyone along with us. And the only way we can win is to build the biggest of coalitions of people, from the elderly to the young to the student to the nurse to the worker to the bus driver, bringing them all together and saying we have something for everyone.
But should we test the temperature on the doorstep?
Let's get out and do it. I mean, look, we're never going to outspend him, but I'll definitely need new shoes by the end of this election. Hello, man. My name's Ali. I'm the local parliamentary candidate here. Are you usually Labour supporters here? No? Take care. Bye-bye.
Will this optimism, this sense of hope, which you undoubtedly feel amongst the Labour membership,
keep going,
will that win over people? That will be the test in what will be a brutal, vicious campaign in which this lot are going to have everything thrown at them.
I've got you down as a supporter now, okay? Take care. Thank you. She was reluctant, I'm not sure.